Listen up. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to the podcast participants, and not to any participant's employer, organization, committee, or other group or individual. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. You know, for fun. So lighten up and enjoy. Oh, Stomping Jen, there you are.
I'm here.
And there's another person here live with us.
Craziness.
As we breathe, as we speak, right here. And we're going to say...
we shouldn't be breathing or speaking.
Oh, God. This Delta variant is going crazy. I'm afraid. We're going to have to ask our guest to leave.
No.
No, but, all right. So we have a living human being here, Jenny Franz, who is here to talk to us about the... help me out here.
Her new nonprofit dog rescue called Better Together Dog Rescue.
Thank you. I'm looking under my reading glasses and I can't see anything.
You can't see anything.
Why. Yes, Better Together Dog Rescue.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I have lots of questions as usual. We do have another guest, by the way. There is a little pop Funko of Henry Cavill sitting here in front of me, dressed as Black Superman.
Not Black Superman.
Well, he's in his Black Superman
suit.
Well,
Superman.
I will be looking at Henry Cavill for much of this podcast.
Great. This should make for a very interesting podcast, people.
But let's talk to our guest. I'm going to play the intro music, and then we're going to say hi.
Oh, my God.
All right. I'm just going to go on now.
I know.
Okay, hold on.
Soft Serve Podcast.
Creamy, delicious ideas without the creepy truck.
Stomping Jen, we're here in the studio with a live guest.
A live friend.
And Henry Cavill, the pop Funko in a Black Superman suit.
You know, when you said that we were going to have another guest... Yes. I really thought you were going to mention our dog, since Jenny is doing a nonprofit about dog rescue. But that's okay.
No.
She doesn't count, apparently.
She does not count as a guest.
She's just a piece of the furniture, apparently.
But who does count as a guest is Jenny Franz. Hello, Jenny.
Hello.
I am so nervous.
I know, you're a nervous wreck.
I know. I'm off my game. I don't know what to do.
You can't be nervous, because then I'm going to be nervous.
No, this is so strange having... It's great. It's like a great strange.
Thank you for being our first post-COVID guest in studio.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier to be vaccinated and to be here.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah. Busy, as usual. But no, everything's good.
Yeah. So I didn't do a very good job of introducing you or Better Together Dog Rescue. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are a grassroots organization, like underneath the grass right now. We're starting very beginning, 501c3 nonprofit. Our goal, our mission is to support perfectly imperfect dogs and their people through adoption and community support. So ultimately, when we build our brick and mortar, it's going to be called a community-based dog shelter.
Help me understand a little bit about your mission statement. It's to support perfectly imperfect dogs. See, I am all thrown for a loop, Stomping Jen.
That's okay. What does that mean?
What does that mean exactly?
It's okay. I can't speak either. So basically, it means that no dog is perfect, and every dog is perfect at the same time. I have never had a dog that is 100% perfect, but every single dog I've had is 100% loyal. So it's about seeing those imperfections and loving them, or getting help for them if you need help, and not bringing your dog to the shelter because you feel like you're out of options.
Mm.
Yeah. And I imagine some people, they notice something they perceive as a imperfection in a dog, and then they just decide to get rid of it, right?
Right.
What? Oh, I'm looking over at our dog.
you are.
Looking at our dog, and
I'm like, this dog is perfect.
Yeah, no, in my mind, I'm cataloging the long list of imperfections.
no, but we love her.
No, we would never get rid of her.
Never get so we got this dog, and within we only had cats, right? Neither one of us had ever had a dog in our entire lives, and so we get this dog, and we didn't know what to do with her. And I think the second day we had her, Sawtooth looked at me, was like, "She has to go back."
Did I say that?
Yes. He was like, "We are cat people. We need to send this dog back." And I'm like, "No, we committed to this animal."
Exactly.
Came up on a truck, and we have to learn how to figure out this whole situation.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that was, I'm glad we didn't get rid of her. I'm looking at her over here. Because she does add so much value to our lives. But I didn't know a lot about dogs. I got into dog ownership being totally naive. When I was playing with her as a puppy, she bit me kind of, and I didn't even know they play bite.
Right.
And I ran to Jen. I was like, we've got to get rid of her. She bit me. And then, of course, Jen, always being the level-headed one, went to the internet and looked this up. And she's like, no, she's just playing with you. That's what they do.
Right.
Right?
With those sharp puppy teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but if I hadn't had a level-headed Jen around me,
right,
then we would have maybe gotten rid of her.
Right.
We would never have gotten rid of her.
You don't think so?
No.
I still think about it.
Getting rid of her?
No, I don't.
No, we do. We're always we always joke to people. We're like, oh, you want a dog? You want ours?
Oh, I mean, I do this when my youngest is 1, he's a huge Great Pyrenees pit bull mix. He's a pain in the ass. But of course, when he's with the trainer, or I just had him at the ER, they were on the phone talking to me for 5 solid minutes about how amazing he is. And I'm like, great. Are you interested?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't act this way when he's at home.
Right.
That must be some spectacular dog. A Great Pyrenees and a pit bull.
Yes. He is. We call his legs sexy legs. They're really long. He's kind of a dum-dum, but he does like to guard. So we have some guarding issues. Yeah. He's looking for his livestock, and we don't have any for him. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
Now, did you rescue this dog?
All 3 of our dogs were foster fails, which, for those who don't know, means you're fostering a dog, intending to send them on to their permanent home and decide to adopt them instead.
Yeah.
So our oldest is Ren. She just turned 5. She is a super mutt. She's pit, bulldog, shepherd, Catahoula, leopard, chow chow.
Yeah.
All Everything. Of the above.
Yeah.
And Callie is a hound pit bull. She's going to be 4. And then Marty. And we started fostering because we wanted a puppy. So I don't know if I can consider Ren a foster fail. We had her and her sister. They were our first 2 foster puppies out of 14 that we fostered. And then after that, it just, And then Marty was a COVID puppy.
Yeah.
Now, I know I've known people who have fostered animals, and that means you take them in for a period of time, right? Mm-hmm. You're just maybe socializing them or giving them a place before they find a permanent home, or do they go to you in a foster situation with the idea that you might adopt them? Or I'm trying to understand what a foster fail means. Does that mean the foster home didn't work out and then they...
No, the foster fail means that you had all the right intentions to give this dog a temporary home until they found their forever family, and you wound up falling in love with it and adopting it yourself.
Oh.
That's what a foster fail is.
How did you not understand that?
I totally didn't get it.
Oh
I thought it was somebody else was fostering it, the dog.
Yeah, and then it
didn't
work out.
It failed its test.
Yeah.
No.
And so you got it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. How many dogs have you fostered?
14 puppies.
Oh, okay. So you've got a good foster fail average. What's 3 divided by 14, Stomping Jen?
I don't know.
Let's do the percentage.
I need a spreadsheet. It's at least it's a little bit less than a quarter.
Right.
Was there something special about these dogs that now live with you, where they just, or is it like when you fall in love with a person? It's just you can't really understand why. Like, Stomping Jen cannot
He just
explain.
looked at me,
He
right?
just looked at you and pointed.
Yeah, I mean I'm her foster fail. She was hanging out with me, and she just helplessly fell in love with me.
Oh, helplessly.
No, so tell us about your dog. Like,
There was a journey to it,
okay.
for sure, because I have loved every single
Right.
one of those puppies, and I have cried tears as they've left. Ren was a very confident dog, and we wanted that because our dog at the time, who passed away in 2017, was a shy and timid dog. So we weren't looking for that sort of match. We wanted a confident female dog. And so Ren just seemed to fit that package really well. And obviously I was obsessed with her. Callie, we wanted to adopt another black dog. Foster was a black dog. They have a hard time in the shelters. But we didn't want to adopt a male black dog because we didn't want it to seem like we were replacing him.
Right.
So when Callie came along as a foster puppy, we just kind of fell in love with her and her sweet face. And then Marty, to be honest, I didn't want to adopt Marty. Life was crazy enough being home with the kids and dealing with this pandemic. But my husband and my son were really attached to him and convinced me that it was the right thing to do. And now I'm the only one caring for him. Typically. It's a very typical situation.
Yeah.
Mommy, can I have this?
Yeah.
It was like, fine, but he needs to sleep in your room. And he is not. And he's huge.
Yeah.
And he's in my bed.
Oh my
and I
God.
hate it.
Oh God.
I hate it.
Do you not use crates for your animals?
Not for bedtime, though I did just have a trainer over, and we've got some plans for getting the dogs out of the bed. I did just got their beds from Amazon today. It's going to be like sleep training a baby for me, though. So I'm like waiting for the right time because it's going to be all night, like off, off. Like
That was definitely our experience with Asbury over there. She like howled, and I was as awful sleep training a dog as I was with human babies. I declared to Stomping Jen, "Oh, I can handle this sleep training. It's going to be fine."
No.
Don't you remember? And I didn't last 5 minutes.
No. Yeah, you never last 5 minutes.
I couldn't
Not even with our children.
I couldn't handle the howling. It was the same with the dog.
I don't think she howled.
She did. She cried for 2 nights.
She cried, I think, but not. She was okay with her crate.
Yeah.
That was the one thing we did right. Was crate training from the very beginning. Somebody told us.
Crate training is great. And Marty loved his crate. We had to remove it because he was guarding it.
Yeah. Oh.
So it was causing fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Asbury's been trying to sneak out of her crate at night. I left the door open the other night, and she very sneakily jumped up onto our bed. We let her stay there, too.
Yeah, it's fine.
She was
Once
fine.
in a blue moon, it's not a big deal.
But she curls up in the corner, and she's like, if I don't move, they won't know
they
I'm
won't
here.
kick me out.
Yeah.
Well, she is a tiny little thing. I probably wouldn't notice either.
Itty bitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you fell in love with these dogs and decided to keep them. Do you have other pets at home?
No.
Okay.
No, we used to have 2 cats, 2 brothers who
Okay.
passed away a few years ago. Okay. And it's kind of a romper room. I always say 1 dog too many. But we have a big fenced-in yard, so we have privileges when it comes to owning 3 big dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. The yard helps.
The yard definitely helps.
Although I'm thinking when we first got Asbury, our rescue, and Stomping Jen will tell you, I spent our
entire
anniversary installing an electric fence around our yard myself.
That's a doozy of a job.
Yeah, happy anniversary. Our yard's an acre, so almost the whole thing is surrounded.
Right. So then, to finish the story.
Then she started acting like a maniac, and then we brought in this dog trainer.
Because we didn't know anything about dogs.
Right. He's like, oh, she has way too much space.
Like, you gave her way too much to guard.
Yeah, she's
and
just...
like, too much territory to...
Right.
Yeah. So again, like, but another self-created problem.
Right.
Right? Because we didn't know anything about dogs.
Yeah. I just remember that guy.
Yeah.
That trainer. Trainers are amazing. Like, he walked in, and he had her under control in, like, 2 seconds.
A second.
Yeah.
There is something to that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I mean, maybe it's just his experience and his confidence with her.
Yeah.
Like, he sat in our kitchen. He had these chain bean bags. He sat there and he just called her name and threw these bean bags. And it took her about 5 minutes, but then she, like, slowly crawled up the steps and over to him, and she sat right next to him.
Yeah.
And from that moment, like, she did everything he told her to.
Yeah, they give out all the feels.
Yeah.
For sure. Although the trainer that came over last week was excellent one-on-one. He was like, dude, this house is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, your dogs own this house. You have no discipline, no rules.
How did
you
how did you feel when the trainer told you that? Because I know I felt a deep sense of shame when he's like, you're all just out of control here. That's what he told us.
It was nothing I wasn't aware of.
Okay.
You know, but good luck to me trying to train
The
3 dogs
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare, but it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Training. So that's a piece of it. That's like another investment, right? That maybe you don't think of when you go to adopt or rescue a dog.
That was the other thing I remember him saying to us was, what did she? So he said something to the effect of like, you have the dog when you want to have the dog. Otherwise, she doesn't exist, right? Like that was like
That was his advice to us?
That was like the gist of like what he said.
Like to ignore her when we don't.
Right. Like she doesn't exist until because you decide you want to give her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he was serious business.
Yeah.
He only came for like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, there are people have lots of different philosophies. I think he was like more along the Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer philosophy. Well, he did.
We talked to him about that. All right, anyways,
we're
getting really off track.
Well,
no, this is a great track to be on.
But he used noise to correct her.
Okay.
And and just like
he never used.
No, I know, but like it was his whole like, I'm not going to pay attention to her till I want to.
Right.
That's what Caesar does. He like walks into a space, like totally ignores the dog until he wants to look at it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
yeah. I know. Our trainer was like, they spend too much time together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the dogs?
And I was like, I don't know what to do with that information.
Yeah.
There's no place for them to go.
Is he like they're too strong of a pack and you guys are outnumbered?
He was just like, imagine this being you and your siblings, like all the time in the same place, doing the same things, you know? And so there's a way to give some separation by taking them each for their own walk.
Yeah, but who
that's
is the time?
3 walks a day, you know? So he was like, let's focus on Marty first because he's the biggest pain in the ass. But, you know, he was like, create one in one room for an hour and then one in this room. And I'm like, okay, writing it down like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you take them to daycare ever?
Marty got kicked out of daycare recently.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I did start taking him to Wagging Tails, which was like, it's an amazing place. And we still board him there. And I love them. They're phenomenal. He was going 2 half days a week just for funsies because he annoys his sisters. And I was like, you know, I work from home, so I don't need the daycare. But it was like, he's young.
Yeah.
Keep him socialized. Did great for 2 to 3 months. Yeah. Boarded him the first time. And then the week after when he went back, he started guarding the place.
You like
and so he picked fights with 2 dogs. Thankfully, dogs that were not return reactive. And they were like, you know.
Yeah.
We can't wait until that moment where he picks the fight with the wrong dog. So he got the boot.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Poor Marty.
It is sad because he loved it there.
Yeah.
Had the time of his life and they loved him. And it's just like, sorry, dude, if you're going to have this attitude, it's not going to fly.
Yeah.
It's not safe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't like other dogs. I mean, that's not true. She doesn't like to interact with other dogs. She like if she gets to know a dog, she'll walk with another dog.
Yeah.
But like We could
That's
never.
her limit.
Yeah, we could never, because we didn't send her to daycare, and so she wasn't socialized with other dogs.
Yeah,
But it might have just also been her personality from the start.
It's true.
You know, and that's what it comes down to is perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
Like you need to adjust your life to your animal when you make that commitment.
Yeah. And she's very guardy, like of like me or
Oh, yeah.
whoever the person she's with.
Yeah.
Like she'll put herself between you and like the
other
animal or the
person.
person, like for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to take it back a little bit.
Yeah.
This
To
dog
Jenny.
talk was interesting. Yeah. Now, Better Together Dog Rescue, which is you're still under the grass, still developing
Putting it together.
project,
Yes.
is not your first foray into animal care projects. You worked on this thing in our town. We've talked about our town here, Stomping Jen. Where do we live?
Belchertown.
Belchertown, Massachusetts, right? You co-created something here in our town called the BARC.
The bark.
I like the acronym.
The bark. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the Belchertown Animal Relief Committee. And I want, if you can, just to tell people a little bit about that project. And I think it kind of maybe serves as a foundation for what you did next here with Better Together Dog Rescue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I met Anna, our animal control officer, at the old facility in Belchertown one day, and I was just crushed by the conditions that she had to work in and that the animals were in, especially cats. Belchertown has a much more higher population of cat issues than we do dog stray issues, and these cats had to stay in dog kennels, or she would have to bring them home into her own bathroom when she had kitten litters. It was just ridiculous. A little shack off the side of the DPW garage. And so we decided to do something about it. Me and a few other women in town created BARC, and our purpose was to raise the funds and work with the town to build a new animal control facility, not a dog pound, which is what we had. And it's understandable. So many towns had dog pounds, but it was time to change with the times. That's not what the town needed anymore. We needed an animal control facility, not only dogs, cats, but livestock. I mean, we have a big community here. We had so many needs and they just weren't being met.
Yeah. It's an amazing thing you did. I have to give you one of these. Like, how do you go from that idea, and there is like a building now there, a beautiful facility. Like, how did you know how to do that? Because I talked to Stomping Jen about the simplest things. I want to build a little cat enclosure, and I just
catio?
Catio. I want to build a catio, and I just sit there and I become paralyzed. I can't do anything. How do you take this idea and turn it into an actual building?
It takes a lot of time and commitment. And I personally am that type of person. So if I have a task that is really meaningful to me, I am 110% into it. So it was, a matter of getting the information out there, getting a team together, working with the town, raising funds. And I have never been so blown away by a town. I mean, the entire town built that facility.
Yeah.
The entire town did it. Everybody just came together and donated and volunteered. And, we had the police department come in and put our kennels up. It was just a really beautiful thing to happen here. And I was just there today, and it's still just like such a wonderful place to go. The animals are safe. The cats have their own room. They have a catio.
That's awesome.
So it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
But so many people had a hand in it, and it was accomplished in a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Like that it was a community organized effort. Mm-hmm. Think
volunteerism. We talked about it before.
Right.
I still think about it, and they still support BARC nonstop to keep the animal control facility at its best. You know, it has a budget that it needs to work with, but they are there to go beyond those needs, and they're doing a phenomenal job.
So you've now exited that.
I was part of the board. I was president of the board for 2 years. So I resigned in 2017 once the building was up and done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I need a break.
Yeah, I
on
reached
something
a
else.
point of stress, like, you know, but I felt accomplished and that it was the right time for me to move on. I had seen it through.
Yeah. It reminds me of something you say a lot, Stomping Jen. You're self-employed. You take on clients, and she often says, Jenny, part of my job is to make sure they don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
Right? To like bring the project to a place where I can walk away.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of maybe what I'm hearing you did with that. You had accomplished your goal and were like, I'm going to go focus on something else.
Yeah.
100%.
Partly, yeah.
Which was when I joined the PTO at Pelham School. And 4 years later, I just resigned from that.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the truth. Bringing them to a place, doing your time and feeling accomplished, and that you're leaving them
Right.
in the right spot so that
Right.
they can continue to be successful.
Yeah. And when did you start becoming interested in starting your own dog rescue? Like, when did that become an idea for you and something you began to think seriously about?
I would say in 2015, which was around the time that Bark was established, I attended a conference in Atlantic City for Best Friends Animal Society, and I was just completely inspired there. And it wasn't that it inspired me to do it. I think it made me realize my own dreams, and it made me realize that I can make it happen. And so, it was a long time ago, but I also had to think about where I was in my life, that I had young children. So it was a plan. It was always like a 5 to 10 year plan. And then, now a 3 to 5 year plan. And I'm kind of in year 3 of that 3 to 5 year plan. So just doing things along the way to get to where I am now. I'm finishing my master's in contemporary animal services through SUU. Thank you very much. And I leave Labor Day. I'm doing a 5-week internship at Dogtown in Utah, at Best Friends, actually. So it's come full circle.
What is Dogtown?
Dogtown is their sanctuary and adoption center out in Utah for Best Friends.
Okay.
So I'll be working all day, all night with dogs there, and getting that experience under my belt, which is kind of a dream come true for me.
What kind of stuff do you expect to learn there? What kind of things will they be teaching you?
A lot of behavioral,
Okay.
which is where I lack the most experience. So that's a lot of training and working with behavioral issues, and also just the ins and outs of shelter life. It's going to be really useful for me.
Yeah.
So that's where the dream started,
Yeah.
or the reality of the dream, I should say.
I love that there's a place called Dogtown that teaches you stuff about dogs. No, I love that. I need to go to Dogtown.
You need to go to Dogtown.
Yeah.
They built actually like a hotel on site. And you can volunteer there for as long as you want to and stay in the hotel, and you can take the dogs for sleepovers.
Are they?
They have like little dog beds that pull out from under the hotel beds.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
you take them out hiking, like. Yeah.
Is Dogtown associated with Southern Utah University, or do they just have like a connecting program with
So
them?
Best Friends Animal Society, which is where Dogtown is, they collaborated with SUU to come up with this master's program.
That's amazing.
And so that's how I found out about the master's program, and it is amazing. I never thought I'd go back to school. But the second I saw this, I was like, this is right for me.
Yeah. I think so often, I wish somebody had told me when I was younger, like even in my 20s or, even older, like you can go to graduate school and
really?
do it. No.
Wait.
And wait, let me,
What?
hold on, and study whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like there are people out there like scholars who make a living researching and publishing papers on Bigfoot or UFOs, like stuff I'm passionate about. And now that I'm almost 50, I feel I can't do it.
You are not almost 50.
We argue about this. 47 is close to 50,
It's close,
right?
but it's not quite
It's not
there.
almost 50, yeah.
And you're not ever too old.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 41 and I'm
Yeah.
just doing my master's, totally changing my career path here.
It's never too late. We talk about this all the time because, like, I think about how much more time we have.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you can have several different careers
Yeah.
in your life.
And I'm inspired and amazed that they had this program that like fit what you were interested in.
Me too.
Yeah, and then you could do it online, right? Because
It was 100% online.
Southern Utah University. That's awesome. I love that. Are you thinking about is Better Together Dog Rescue going to have like a physical presence? Like, are you going to have a building like that you have to manage? And walk me through what the vision is going to be.
Sure. So the vision can be a lot of different things depending on where we wind up, what sort of space it is. But ultimately, yes, we will have a brick and mortar shelter. We will be transporting dogs in from overcrowded shelters, most likely in the South. So we'll be working with 2 or 3 particular shelters and have partnerships with them. So the facility, the building, would have dog kennels. We would need to have our isolation and quarantine areas, offices, meet and greet area. And then there's the whole community part, which will depend on the layout of the building. The original vision was to have a community center in the building that can be used for meetings, for youth group, for AA, for OA. And if you wanted a dog to come into the meeting, you could have a dog come into the meeting. And then also have a pet food pantry and free store.
That's That's an amazing idea. Is that like a novel idea, like building a community center into a dog rescue facility? Because thinking about that, who doesn't love dogs? I mean, there are some people, but I would love to go to a...
I don't want to know those people, but I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I would love to go...
Right.
Let's think of a community event that we could hold there.
At the community. Oh, my God.
Probably not a food truck festival, though.
Yeah.
The dogs would be stealing the food.
Right.
No.
They would be a little crazy.
I think it's indoors. It's not an outdoor thing.
No, I'm just saying, but...
No, but like the library hosts events sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we could have kids come in and read and, just to bring the community in. I mean, that's the way animal welfare is moving. And so it's important to me to have that community side to it. If we don't have the space, then we will just have to really go out into the community. I spoke with the Amherst Survival Center today about, working with them in the future and what people really need. We need to find out what they need. Do they need food? Do they need supplies? Obviously, people always need help with medical bills. Too many people who are on limited income will share their food with their pets.
Yeah.
We don't want that to have to happen. So really engaging and supporting the community is a huge part of it. Now, whether that is in the building or in mobile truck units, either way, it will happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
I love
exciting.
that. Have you thought at all where... I'm going back to this idea about what Southern Utah University did. We're in an area that has like buku colleges. Have you thought at all about reaching out? And some of them with like animal programs. Have you thought, is that part of the vision, or maybe you haven't got that far in thinking about that yet? Or
I'm not 100% there yet, but it is on the list. I mean, I know UMass has a vet program. Mount Holyoke has a vet program. And I'm sure that we can form some sort of partnership with them, or I would hope so, to bring more services to the area.
Yeah. And I'm sure it'll be a place, it could be a place for people to volunteer at. It'd be a good place for volunteer opportunities. There's people
Dog
are
walking, playing, enrichment.
And that provides a lot of good opportunities for college students, teenagers, like are always looking for, volunteer opportunities.
Right. And there's a lot outside of, just taking care of the dogs too. Office help, phone calls, social media, things like that, events. So there's usually something for everyone, depending on what you want to do or what you're good at for volunteering.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll need volunteers. We'll need foster families because fostering is going to be a big part of our organization as well.
Yeah. And we want people to fail at the fostering.
Foster fail?
We
I don't
want
know that
them.
we want people to.
We don't want that.
Because at this point, I cannot take any more fosters. That's the problem.
Yeah. Right.
And so, I really only cried after the first one left. I had two at the same time. Ren and her sister, Ellie, she left. I cried tears. Then after that, you kind of build up,
tolerance.
Tolerance or you're you have to come to a place where you understand why you're doing it. If you keep keeping your animals, then that's one less place for another dog to be rescued to go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I noticed, I've done research, I've been investigating Better Together Dog Rescue for the better part of a week. You have an Instagram, a Twitter, a LinkedIn even, that's there. Mm-hmm. Social media is a huge part. People, I would imagine, is going to be a huge part of your operation and raising awareness. I follow many rescuers on Instagram.
What do they rescue?
I follow now. Don't hate me. Do you know Beth Stern? Howard Stern's wife.
Oh, she's amazing.
She is into this cat rescuing, my God. She is. I mean,
she's like a saint. I swear to God.
Obviously, I'm going to follow her now.
Yeah, she rescues and gives away and adopts out all of these cats, like hundreds a year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right, and she has the best Instagram account, and it's full of cats.
Yeah,
and I love cats.
I want one
too.
of her cats. I know.
Yeah, I
Me
know.
and our daughter and I always will go on her. She'll be like, "Can we go on Beth's Instagram?"
But I'm obsessed with looking at her on the gram.
Not
I love
her.
it. The cats.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of my face, and that's not super interesting to people. But I also want them to see the process of getting there and what it takes and who's behind it. So, I mean, once the dog faces are there, it'll be much more popular.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have started.
And are you documenting your journey in building Better Together Dog Rescue through social media and Instagram? Are you doing posts along the way to document what's so people go follow this?
I had an idea for you.
Ooh, do tell.
I am chock full of ideas.
Go ahead.
You should do profiles of dog rescues. You can put Asbury's face on and we could talk about, and you can make a little story.
I would love that.
Right? You could go and find other people who have rescued dogs and do that.
Want to tell their stories.
Tell their story about a dog.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
Could call it Every Rescue Has a Story.
Beautiful.
We're making...
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love it.
You don't have to take any of these ideas.
No, I think it's great. I actually took a social media graduate course.
Oh.
And I had to get a TikTok account.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
that
was an interesting learning curve for me.
Have you mastered
I have
TikTok?
fallen down the hole
oh my God.
of TikTok, but I haven't mastered it myself. I think I'm pretty funny, but nobody else does based on the amount of views and likes that I get, which is pretty much zero.
You and me both.
You are not on TikTok.
I'm not.
So Space Unicorn and I tried to do a TikTok video.
Yeah.
It was a superb fail.
Oh, okay.
It was terrible.
Now, did your curriculum as part of getting your master's recommend this? They were you're going to need social media proficiency to do this work, so go take this class. Is that what happened?
This was a choice of mine. So it's interdisciplinary studies, which means it's a combination of different. So my main is contemporary animal services. That's the majority of my credits. But then I also did professional communication.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Because I felt like that was a really important part
Yeah.
for the success of the business. I've worked in nonprofit management for 15 years now, so I didn't need to do that. Leadership, I felt very secure in, but really like I needed the up and up on what's happening. I'm not young anymore.
Yeah,
And I needed a little refresher course.
Changes
It
like
changes
every 5
so
minutes.
often.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like there's this new reel functionality on Instagram. Do you know about the reels?
I saw it. I haven't even figured out stories yet. I don't
Me
even know
neither.
stories.
No.
I don't know.
Well, somebody who's in the know
Yeah.
told me that reels is like
TikTok.
The way to go now.
It's the way to go now.
What is it?
It
Is it longer stories?
No, it's basically like TikTok, but it's through Instagram. So it's all that integration of like that where the platform where everybody already is.
Is
kind of.
Reels, it just plays video
Yeah,
after
so it'll
video.
play video after video after video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to check it out.
And so when you do a post, you put it into a reel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's basically TikTok
basically
competition.
TikTok. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you're on Reddit. I'm on Reddit. That's another social media thing, but it's older and it's more like reading of like people. There's lots of sub communities, so you join these things called subreddits. So I'm sure they have an animal rescue subreddit, like stuff like that. And they've started doing TikTok like stuff. If you like watch a video, they just begin playing you videos over and over again. And you can't escape it. Yeah.
So much content.
It's similar to like going into Target for me.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, I come out and I'm like, I don't know what just happened. Where was I for the past 30 minutes? That's what happens with TikTok. But I will say all the videos are dog videos on my scroll. Like every single one.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what mine is.
What is it?
Mine?
Yeah.
My videos?
Yeah.
They are mainly centered
Bearded
around,
men with man buns?
No, it's so messed up. So it's like tattoo artists and fitness and health videos. It's like
I
all
think
like
that's
a weird
awesome.
like mishmash
Yeah.
of like all this sorts of weird and like art and like just weird shit.
Yeah. Occasionally they throw in like a look what happened with this cop. And I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
But also I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. And maybe even, once you've got some Better Together Dog Rescue up and going, that could provide an internship opportunity too. The social media stuff.
Yeah.
I've learned it's a nearly full-time endeavor.
Yeah.
Doing posting and thinking about what you're going to post, and
It is. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Being creative.
Yep.
If you're not, it's tough.
Yeah. And even if you are creative, and
It's still tough.
It's not your
Yeah.
full-time
Yeah.
gig, as Sawtooth just mentioned. It's
yeah, it takes up a
Right.
lot of my time.
not during work though.
Never.
Never during work.
Jenny, you mentioned that you've been doing nonprofit work for 15 years. Tell us a little bit about what drew you into nonprofit work.
I had the opportunity to join this charitable foundation that was being created from a trust. Howard Stark passed away, not Tony Stark's father, though the same name, and super awesome guy. And he wanted to establish a charitable foundation in his name. And so that was established, and I was given the opportunity to be the executive director. Before that, I had been working in accounting and bookkeeping and tax returns, and that was clearly not the path that I wanted to continue on. It was a great job. I learned a lot, but it just did not fit my personality or my goals. So nonprofit seemed really exciting to me. And it's been a wonderful experience. And I get to see the best side of things. We don't have to fundraise. We have to give away money.
Yeah.
I mean, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
And so it's evolved over the years. We were mainly in New York in the beginning. And when we moved it up to Belchertown, where I live, we added a whole grant cycle just for local Massachusetts organizations in the area. We added an animal welfare grant cycle as well. And then our biggest one is human services. So a lot of food pantries, community kitchens that we still support in New York. I was just there a couple weeks ago visiting, and it's just really, really nice. You meet the best people who are just so dedicated to what they do. And it's really, really heartwarming.
Yeah. When that opportunity came up and you were doing the other, I'm going to put it in air quotes, more traditional like work, was it hard for you to make that switch? Was it scary? Did it feel like you were taking a leap? No, you're just like, I'm out of here.
It was like, I'm out of here. Yeah. I think part of it is just my personality. I knew I could do it. I felt really confident about it, really excited about it.
Yeah.
And so it was an easy switch for me to go into that field.
Where did that confidence come from? It sounded like you were ready for it. Like you just knew this is something you could tackle.
I learned a lot by trade after graduating from UMass. I was never an excellent student. I do not test well. I have concentration issues. So don't ask me about anything that I learned in my undergrad at UMass. Yeah. When I left college, I got my first job in banking, and then I got this job with the firm, the CPA firm, and I really just learned by trade, and I learned from their mentorship how to run a good business, how to be honest, open, transparent, organized. And I've always been a personable person. So it's easy for me to talk to people and have those conversations. And that.
You mentioned some of what's really rewarding about nonprofit work. What are some of the really challenging things?
I mean,
these are hardball questions.
Sorry.
No. It's a good question. So I kind of have two sides of it.
Yeah.
For me personally, I work alone at home.
That's hard.
It is super lonely.
I worked alone at home for about 6 years when I was writing, and I was working at home 4 days a week. There are times where, I wouldn't see anybody for 10 hours a day. It was horrible.
Yeah. It's tough, especially when you're a social person like
Yeah.
me who wants to be around people. So that's a personal challenge with the job, but it has always been outweighed by the flexibility I'm given to be a working parent and a stay-at-home parent, basically. If I need to be at school for my kids, I can be at school for my kids. And I drive them to school and pick them up from school every day. So that just way outweighs the, being alone. And before COVID hit, I was starting to go to Share Coffee or places like that just to get out. Even if I wasn't talking to people, I felt better just even being out 2 hours with my computer in public.
Stomping Jen talks about this all the time. She just likes to be around people, likes the energy of people, whether it's a concert or being, in a physical place with other humans. You like that.
I do.
You've said that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I find
that's the whole benefit of co-working, by the way.
I find it repulsive, even though I hate being alone. I just
can't deal.
Yeah, I like a mix. Like when I'm in the office, I'll be around people, then I'll run back to my office and hide for a while. I like that. Is that strange?
No. That's you, and that's okay. That's totally okay.
So you mentioned that it's nice to be in the position where you're giving away money or thinking about awarding. Is it ever stressful to be looking over the list of like potential candidates and being like, oh, I wish we had more. Like, I wish I could give to this one. And
saying no.
Is it hard to say no?
Is that hard?
Yeah.
Of course it's hard.
Yeah.
Of course it's hard. Thankfully, we haven't had to give too many no's, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, for someone who's been on the other side of it, where we've needed to fundraise and, and have gotten rejection letters, I know how that feels. It's also just part of the whole circle of being, and we encourage them to apply every year. It's, we make our grant process as easy as possible for people because I've been there and I know how complicated some of these applications are. I swear you have to sign over your firstborn. It's like insane. So it is difficult. And I would say one of the cons has been seeing organizations that aren't run well. And that's more in the way where they're misusing their funds. That's really hard.
Yeah.
Our criteria is under $1 million in net assets. So we're focusing more on small organizations where our donations are going to actually make a big impact. And we're not flooded with fundraising mail from them throughout the year because they're really taking those funds and putting them into the program. But yeah, it's been disheartening in some really larger organizations to see how the funds are handled.
What are your requirements? Like, what are your guidelines? Like, who do you give money to? Like, any organization that needs money, or do you have a specific, like you said, criteria that you're looking for when you're trying to?
So basically, under $1 million in net assets, you have to be a 501c3 organization, little to no government funding, and not a large budget for fundraising activities. We don't want to see a huge. Obviously, you need to have a budget for fundraising, but there's a fine line between what's too much and what's not. We are primarily in the Northeast. So we have given outside of the Northeast, but that's really kind of special circumstances. But mainly,
I think it's so amazing that organizations like that exist.
What?
Like entities foundations. I know somebody who told me that their family has a long-standing foundation and they give away a lot of money. And I was just, I don't know. It's amazing to me.
Well, it's great when you can be philanthropic, especially in this world where people love to just hold on to their money.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a feel-good thing.
Yeah.
The culture of philanthropy.
I love that. Thank you for doing that work. That's good work.
I mean, thank you, Howard, for making sure this was part of his, memory and his when he passed on. So we're able to do that.
Yeah.
Can I ask a stupid question?
No question is stupid.
Like, do you have to invest the funds so that they still maximize on their return, so that there still is always money?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, do you have to? You don't have to.
Right. But if you want to.
But if you want to keep your principal balance and you want to give your interest earned, then you got to find a good investor to do that for you.
Right.
And then you're required to give away 5% of your principal each year. And if you give more, which we've done in the past, then it just lowers the amount you have to give the following year.
Okay.
But you have to give 5% of your principal. Yeah. So we do around $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to dogs for a minute. You mentioned earlier a lot of the dogs come from the South. I think we talked about our dog who's lying over there now, ignoring us. She twitched though.
She did, and it was really cute.
Yeah. They come from the South. What is up with the South and these dogs that need rescuing? What's their problem down there? Is it just because it's warm all year and dogs can just get it on and just migrate to the warmer weather? Is that what's going on?
I mean, I wish that was it. I think it's lack of funding and lack of spay-neuter.
Okay.
And lack of education.
Yeah.
Education in the field of animal welfare and how to care for your pet and what services are available.
Yeah. I mean, people like to laugh at Bob Barker, right?
What?
No, he was the spay-neuter king.
That's right. The Price is Right host.
Bob Barker?
He ended every single episode by saying, don't forget to spay or neuter your pets.
Yep.
What?
Yes.
Is this true?
Yeah.
It's true.
100%. Are you amazed at the things I know?
He was way ahead of his time, by the way.
I don't even understand. Like, I watched The Price is Right. I've never even, entered into my consciousness.
Every single episode, he ends it with that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And this is something he was really dedicated to. And, our dog came up off of the truck with a tattooed line on her stomach. I'm assuming that was to tell us that she has been spayed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We have the blue tattoos for all of ours also. Yeah.
And now, is that unusual? Or are more rescue organizations in the South doing that? Like, is spaying and neutering not as widespread as it should be down there?
It's not as widespread as it should be, but rescues are getting better about at least not adopting out pets.
Yeah.
If they're not spayed or neutered prior to. So making sure that the pets that are going into adopted homes have already had the surgery.
Okay.
The problem down south, and what I was so inspired by in 2015 at the Best Friends National Conference, is that they committed to no kill 2025. So basically having the whole country be no kill by 2025. And what that means is that no animal is euthanized solely based on space. So it doesn't mean that if an animal is not adoptable for severe medical or severe behavioral issues, that you don't let them pass on to the next life, but that no animal will be killed just because they don't have the space for them. And since that started, I want to say in 2015, it was maybe around 6 million cats and dogs a year were being euthanized. And this past year, it was 697,000.
Oh, wow.
Which is like a huge,
Let me do the math.
huge decrease.
Is that a 10%?
Don't stop to trying to do math without
I can't
calculator.
do math. Yeah. That's a huge drop.
It's a huge drop.
A factor of 10.
Okay.
And
Right?
I believe that
Don't know.
that Delaware is now a no-kill state. So there's been a ton of progress, and it when you think of it as how many versus now, it's still almost 700,000 pets being killed simply for space issues. So there's
many.
still work to do.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to come in. So, our partnerships will be transporting in, but also supporting in return, which I think is a shift that is being made and needs to be made, where shelters were like, yeah, okay, we'll take your dogs, but they weren't trying to help the problem that was there. So in return, we'll give funds for spay and neuter or some sort of partnership like that, and not just be this one-sided.
Are you going to adopt out of your... I know you're going to foster.
It will be an adoption facility. Yeah.
Okay.
The fostering is, fostering provides additional space.
Yeah.
So we'll only be able to have a set amount of kennels.
Right. Yeah.
If we have 20 fosters, that's 20 additional dogs that we can have. And then we're also planning to have long stay programs for pets of domestic violence victims, military active leave, homelessness, and like sudden medical issues where you're suddenly in the hospital for 3 weeks and rehab, and you own a dog and it's yours. And so we'll offer temporary housing either in the shelter or in our foster homes for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. That, now, where did I want to go with this? Sorry, I'm blanking. Has doing this work around whether it's helping the Belchertown Animal Relief Committee, the BARC, get their facility up and going, whether it's starting Better Together Dog Rescue, has it changed the way you view having animals and having pets in any way? Has it made you stop and think about that a little differently?
It has, in the sense that, through my graduate class or courses alone, it completely changed my vision from just focusing on dogs to focusing on dogs and people. I have really noticed my privileges when it comes to my animals over the past year, and that was not something I had ever thought about. I knew I was privileged, but it was always more about socioeconomic privileges, and just like animals weren't there. And all of a sudden I'd be at the ER with Callie at 11:30 at night. Excuse me. And I'm like, okay, I'm here because I have a 2-parent household and my husband can stay home. Yeah. I have a car that I can drive 30 minutes. I have credit or cash that I can pay this bill. I'm super privileged. Like, I
Right.
don't have to think twice about it.
Yeah.
And I have really recognized that. And it's just made me more passionate about getting out into the community. Why should people who can afford it be the only people to be able to experience having a companion like that?
Yeah. I reflect on the fact that as smart as I am stomping Jen, like I didn't realize, I think early on, what a commitment, a financial commitment a pet is. So are you going to see educating people who come in to explore adopting a pet, exactly what kind of a commitment that is? I mean, you hear lots of stories, right? Especially in this area where we live, there's 5 colleges about students adopting pets.
Yeah.
And then they realize they're too expensive.
Right.
They're not as transportable as they thought they were. And they dump them off in a shelter in the area. So are you going to be thinking in any way about education as a component of what you do?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, educating is everything.
Yes.
You know, and it's not that we want to deter people from doing it,
Right.
but we want them to have all the information before they do.
Yeah, and then they can make better decisions, and hopefully that's going to lead to a more stable, durable home for the pet.
Right.
Yeah.
And providing, I think, a list with resources in the area also so that they're prepared. Okay, if something does happen,
Yeah.
you know, here are some of the options that, you know, you can go to get some help with rather than them just feeling like they need to just drop their dog off or cat off at the shelter.
So people who are listening to this, who might be interested in helping, how can they help? What can they do?
Donations,
Yeah.
you know, head over to the website.
Yep, your website. I was on there investigating.
It's a work in progress.
But it has a donate button.
It does.
And you're a 501c3.
Yeah, so it is
I always-
tax deductible.
Yep. So if you're listening to this and you're inspired by what Jenny is trying to build, whether you're in Belchertown or elsewhere, we have people in Tennessee listening to this. And listen, Tennessee, you're part of this problem. There are lots of pets coming up from your area of the country. So throw a few dollars here into the pot to help. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But if you can't, there's still plenty other ways to help. Go to the website, sign up for
Spread the
emails,
word.
spread the word through Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, it's we'll have an Amazon wish list up eventually. So there's plenty of ways to help out without it being all about the money.
Yeah. So go check it out. And I enjoyed reading and looking at all of we don't have to mention them by name, but the board members. There's a lot of like really
Got a great team.
interesting, exciting people involved in this.
That's cool.
So now I noticed there was 2 blank spots there. Does that mean you're still looking for board members?
We have a pretty solid board.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that we're closed to new members.
Yeah. I'm venturing into things I know nothing about, how boards operate, sorry, I am part of a board, but it's different.
Every board is different.
Yeah,
Every
it's not a
based
nonprofit
upon
board.
how it's organized.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
you know, we have 8 phenomenal people.
Yep.
But typically with a board, you want an odd number.
right.
Right.
But that's not going to prevent us from doing what we need to do and getting work done. And we're all really on the same page right now. So I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah.
But if somebody were to call me up and say, hey, I'm from here, I really want to be involved, you know, the door is not closed.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay, so go donate, please. Do Jenny
Do all the things.
a favor. Do me a
Do
favor.
all the things.
I do have some other questions. Can you still hang out?
I'm here.
Okay.
My kids are away. Sky's the limit. Yeah. Bonus.
Yep.
He wants
Okay.
to talk about Henry Cavill.
Oh, well, I have looked at. He is a gorgeous man. I have to say.
Even in Pop Funko form.
Yes. Yeah. Looking at him, Superman.
He's been blessed.
Yeah. I
been
love him
blessed.
so much.
What part of Henry Cavill do you like the
Actually,
most?
his smile.
Yes.
Not his twinkling eyes.
No, there's a scene when he's sitting. Have you seen
Those are
The
great,
Man
too.
of Steel that
Yes.
he's in? So there's a scene when he's sitting at the table being interrogated by the police. And they ask
Love
him
that
what...
you know this in
Oh,
full
I'll go
detail
on.
and precision.
They ask him what the S on his chest means, right? And he says hope, and then he just smiles. That's where he won my heart.
Yeah. That was the moment.
I love Henry Cavill so much. Anyways, I could go on.
You could go on.
Are you?
I mean, I'm okay with that.
You mentioned you had cats before, and we talked to you about how we came to a realization that we were actually cat people. We love our dog. Are you a dog or a cat person?
If I had to pick,
Yeah.
I'd be a dog person.
Okay.
But my husband and my oldest son are more cat people.
Yeah. Now, I've changed.
Mm-hmm.
That was back then. I was a cat person when we first got her. I think I'm a dog person now.
Well, I think because we have we're having struggles right now with our cat.
Oh, we have these other two cats. I don't know if you saw them.
Yeah, she saw them.
We call
Yeah,
them we call them the crows.
It's like double vision.
Yeah.
It's like, what's happening?
We call them the crows because they're diabolical. They're mean.
They steal things.
They steal things. It's just you just like never know what's going to happen with those two around.
Sounds like they need their own Instagram account.
Yeah,
Well,
the crows.
They were found together on the streets of like West Springfield or something, and their animal control officer. I happen to be friends with her on Facebook, or maybe they were an agawam. Whoever didn't have an animal control, so she took them in as a favor. And they're brothers, obviously.
Right.
Because
They're identical twins.
They look so identical. And when we first got them, we had such a hard time like telling them apart. But now it's like ridiculous. Like, it's like they totally look completely different to us.
Yeah.
To us. But yeah, they're they survived on the streets together. They were brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went through a period where if there was any kind of bag, they tried to rip it open and eat whatever was inside.
Yeah,
of
they
it.
were garbage.
Yeah. But you'll hear, sometimes you'll hear our daughter screaming from her room that the crows are stealing her jewelry. Because they
That's
go,
amazing.
They steal shit. So she closes her door at night now because she can't stand it anymore.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but we're having...
We had two bros also.
Yeah.
And they were like the best cats ever.
Yeah.
They were social. And I grew up, only my mom's sister had cats when I was growing up. And they were like the mean ones that would wait for you to walk by and then be like, "Meow." And so I was like, I hate cats. Like that was my whole life. And then my husband's mother like smuggled kittens over the border from Canada, and I was like, well, kittens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go see kittens. Duh. And Charlie just laid in the nook of my elbow, and I was like, I'm a cat person now.
Yeah. They get you that
And
way.
so, yeah, we
do.
adopted Charlie and Dude, and they were like the most social, lovable, funny cats in the world.
Yeah. We have whole podcasts devoted to our cats, so we don't need to rave on and on and on
Yeah, that's true.
about our cats.
What about birds? Do you have any thoughts about birds as pets?
I can't get behind it.
Yeah, I have trouble with birds. They're like horses to me in a way.
You hate horses.
I don't hate horses. I
They
can't.
scare the bejesus
I can't
out of
figure
him.
them out.
I love horses.
Yeah. Help me understand horses. When I look at their, they don't seem to have expressions to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
See, to me, they speak all the time through their eyes.
Okay.
They have just so much feeling coming out of their eyes, and I just love them.
I think I need to spend time around them. Maybe that will help me.
I think you do too.
Okay.
My kids started taking horse lessons this past year, actually, with another nonprofit that started in Belchertown, Transitions in Motion. And I just loved up the horses. And it is incredible, the bond between my oldest son, who has more anxiety, and the horse that he was riding. There was a clear bond and understanding between them that I thought was great.
I'm trying to remember. We were somewhere recently where I was petting a donkey, and I loved it. What?
Donkeys.
You don't remember this? She's laughing. I'm not even
petting
joking.
a donkey and I loved it.
Where was this happening?
It.
Was that a goat? I was rubbing its face.
I think it was a goat. I think it was at Hope's house.
Oh, well, I love that.
I mean, they totally look alike, so I could see why
goat,
you would.
Donkey.
They don't have a donkey?
No, they have goats. They have 3 goats. No,
Well, I love goats then.
Goats are cute.
Yeah, these things, they were wagging their tails.
it was goats. It was
Okay.
not a donkey.
Okay.
Didn't you kiss a goat once? That's for a different podcast.
That's for a different podcast. Back in college.
Yeah, I want to listen to that one
Oh.
for sure.
We still have to record that one. All right. I was going to ask about fish. Are fish pets?
I have a hard time with fish too.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like I picture myself swimming in a very small space with nowhere to go. And
Yeah.
I feel like that would drive me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bird thing too, like that's, if it's an injured bird that can't fly, then its next best life is in somebody's home.
Yeah.
I'm totally behind that. But I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
They live forever too.
Fish?
Yeah.
No, birds.
Oh, birds can live
Parrots.
Birds are like,
80, 100
they're a
years.
huge commitment.
Yeah, they are.
Did you see on the forum there was like some parakeet that's been like flying around this area and like they keep recapturing it in animal control and then like it keeps like coming
there was
back.
like a parakeet explosion here. There were
Yeah.
like 3 parakeets that showed up.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what was singing in the spring. There was some kind of bird I've never heard before that
Or maybe it was the parakeet.
was just singing these.
It was over around the corner.
These beautiful but maddening songs.
It was driving him.
It was
nuts.
driving me nuts
It was
because I'm
every
working at
morning.
home and
It's probably the
like-
parakeat.
yeah.
You like that fucking bird.
I tried to get a picture of it. I couldn't. Anyways,
God.
it confounded me. What else did I want?
What
to
about
ask
lizards? We didn't talk about lizards and snakes.
I can't get behind lizards. Listen, if you like them as pets, by all means, please just take care of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just care for them well. But a lizard isn't for me.
What about rodents?
I had a pet
Love
rat.
rodents.
I
Rats are
loved
the
my rat.
best.
Yeah.
My son wants to get his own pet for his bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In time. I'm holding out as long as I possibly can. And
Yeah.
the only limitations are no snakes, no spiders. Because those are the 2 things that I really can't comfortably
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But I keep pushing him to get rats because they're so much fun and they're so smart.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a huge rodent fan. I
Yeah.
am not at all skeeved out by rodents.
Yeah,
I embrace them.
The rat I had, he lived like 4 years, I think, somewhere 3-4 years. He was a great pet. He was
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
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 He was a cutie.
We were over somebody's house and they had a chinchilla.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack, my oldest, keeps saying chinchilla, but my only requirement is you have to adopt it. And you're not going to see chinchillas a lot. Like Dakin,
No.
they always have rats and
rats.
guinea pigs and stuff. So he knows he's limited to an animal that's,
Yeah.
So it's college students getting those rats and guinea pigs and
The hamsters.
then dumping them. Yeah.
Siberian dwarf.
Yeah.
cute.
Jenny, was there anything else you wanted to talk to us about?
I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I think we covered
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot, which is great, but I'm open for any questions
Yeah.
in any area.
And I'll just remind people before we move into our final 2 questions, Stomping Jen.
Yes.
Better Together Dog Rescue.
Yes.
Go check out the website. I'm going to be posting the links, right? I'll post them in the social media posts I do. They will be in the podcast notes. You know where to find them if you're listening to this. So go check all of that stuff out. Okay, please. And if you can afford to donate,
Right.
right? Throw a little into the pot. Okay, let's help this project get off the ground. So you're investing a lot of time in this nonprofit work, getting this Better Together Dog Rescue going. What do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do to take care of yourself, reconnect, decompress?
I like to go away with my friends.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite place to go?
No.
Anyway.
I was just in New York City a couple weeks ago to see one of my longtime friends since elementary school, and I was surprised by another friend from elementary. She flew out from LA and surprised me at the restaurant. And we had like the best 2 days ever. The adrenaline alone just kept me, like I was up until like 2, 3 in the morning. Like that.
Oh my God.
I don't rock that much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love weekends away with friends, which made last year really hard.
Yeah.
And when I'm out in Utah, we're all meeting in Vegas.
Oh, nice.
For a long weekend. We were supposed to be there for our 40th last year. But obviously that got canceled. So that's something to look forward to. But yeah, I'm not an exercise person. So you're not going to find, I know you are. So. Like that's not my meditation.
Yeah.
I'd rather go out and like get lost at Target and take a jog.
I love that you said that because usually people tell us like, yoga or something like that.
You're never going to find that in my schedule.
Yeah.
Unless like all my friends are like, let's go to the gym on this vacation. And then I'll be like, maybe, but also maybe I'll just sit here for a little while by myself.
Yeah.
Have you researched where you're going to stay in Vegas yet? Do you know?
We're staying at the Cosmopolitan.
Okay. Where's that?
In, like,
I don't know. We didn't get down that far on this trip.
Yeah. I have no real knowledge of the area.
Yeah.
It was just a 2-bedroom suite that, that's what I was looking for. So we could all stay together.
Yeah, nice.
And split the cost.
Nice.
Most importantly.
If you're looking, you have a very short period of time, but I will highly recommend Area 15 where they have all the art stuff and Meow Wolf.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember your Facebook post. That place looked awesome.
It was rad.
Amazing.
And they do like raves and stuff there, right?
They do. They have like, mainstream like DJs that come through.
Marshmallow.
It's called Area 51.
Area 15.
Area 15.
Yeah, you got to flip to 51.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to remember that.
Yeah.
And it was on the strip or was outside?
No, it's like a short like ride out.
Okay.
You could probably Uber there.
Yeah, you could Uber.
I'm going to have a car.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm
It's
driving
easy.
from Utah to Vegas.
Yeah. So you can drive. Yeah, it's not far. It's like 10 minutes away.
I remember your Facebook post and I was like, this place looks so cool.
It was literally the only reason we went to, not the only reason. It was a confluence of...
It's like, once you go, you don't really have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I had never been to Vegas, and I loved it.
Yeah.
There...
Wait, you did?
Well,
what?
There are things we were figuring out. I don't like smoke or secondhand smoke. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know where... shame on us. We didn't research it, but we wanted to stay in the Luxor because it's a pyramid.
Right.
Like we wanted... So we stayed there.
Stay at the Luck. Well, you already have your...
We do.
Yeah. But then we were like, it's a little too smoky for us. It's not quite our scene. Yeah. And so we found the place we would stay next time we go.
Yeah.
And
smoke-free casino.
Yeah.
Like, the entire facility is smoke-free.
That's going to be like a rare find.
Yeah. And there's a couple of them, and like weirdly Trump Tower is one of them. But
that is weird.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll go there next time. And there's so much to do there. Like, I would definitely go back again.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nate's going to come out and visit, and we're just going to do like one night in Vegas, and then, excuse me, I'll drive him out to Utah to see the sanctuary and stuff. But he's never been to Vegas before. I've been once before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you driven like out in Utah, like in the desert? Have you done that yet?
No, but it's on my list of things to do.
Oh my God.
I had to stop watching Dateline because I was like getting myself a little too freaked out about just like disappearing and
no, you're not going to
never coming home again. But I've heard that, especially where I am in Kanab, is just like beautiful out there.
It's amazing. I drove from Vegas to Bryce Canyon and then to Zion to Grand Canyon. So I drove like 2,000 miles when we were out there almost. And
sorry, rental company.
It was the most breathtaking thing I've ever seen.
He called me up and he was like, "Is this real?"
Like I was driving, I was driving out of Vegas up into the Utah like deserts. I was just like, how could I have never been here before? How could I have never experienced this?
So I will tell you, if you see a rave in the middle of the desert in the middle of the night? Stop, please.
Join in.
Which I did,
No.
but I didn't stop.
You didn't
didn't.
stop.
No, never.
I was like, this was like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and he didn't stop.
Yeah, I have a family member who I think used to go to one every year in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And this was so random. This was like 1 a.m. We were like barreling through at 90 miles an hour trying to get to our hotel. And just like, it was my son and I in the car. He's 13, 14 at the time. Was he 14?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he wasn't quite yet.
Anyways, around there, Ted. And like up ahead, I just see this glow.
It's like,
And I've been driving.
Yeah.
I've been driving like 3 hours. We were so tired. We'd hiked all day. I was like, "What is that? What I think it is?" He's like, "It's a rave."
did you think it was aliens?
Maybe I was super. Aliens were very much in my mind at the time because they were the government was releasing this report about UFOs.
Okay.
So I was thinking about aliens.
So funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, Vegas. That's awesome.
Yeah.
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 And vacationing. With
I
your
hope you
friends.
Not that I'm
A
like,
great
in my
time.
spare time,
Yeah.
I always go to Vegas. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
more back to the original
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
I like to see my friends
Yeah.
and spend time. That's my take care of myself time.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So we asked this question of everybody, mostly.
Mostly.
Sometimes there are people come on I'm afraid to ask this question to because they seem
you skip
mean.
it?
They seem mean. Well, I shouldn't say that because if
Yeah.
I didn't ask that question,
I know.
it'd be-
Now you're going to be setting yourself
Oh
up
well,
for-
whatever. It's fine. I'm
Ask
going to ask
it.
the question. What have you experienced that you cannot explain?
Oh,
This is a hard one, I know.
that is a really hard one.
And you can interpret it any way you want.
He's just going to play this music while you're
Yeah.
thinking about it.
And we'll lead the witness a little.
Can it be something that I can explain, but it doesn't seem real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Okay, so not this past December, but the December before, I took an ancestry test. And we always knew my mother had been adopted from Ireland when she was 18 months old, but we
Okay.
never knew the story behind it. And I matched with a woman, reached out to her. She got back to me, and within 24 hours, I had found my mom's entire family
Oh my God.
in Ireland.
Oh, wow.
She's the oldest of 9,
Oh my God.
and she's there right now meeting them for the first time.
What?
No way.
Your mom?
Yeah. So we were all supposed to go in May
Get
together.
out of here. I've got goosebumps. It happened.
It's like, but this is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's better that they actually just wound up going as soon as the border opened, as soon as they were allowed in, because she needed to be there just with my father and with
Yeah.
her siblings without my sister and I and all of our kids distracting her.
yeah.
But I get pictures every day, and it's like, I can't believe that this is real life. They're the most phenomenal people. We've
Yeah.
been able to build relationships with them over the past
Yeah.
year and a half through technology.
Yeah.
But it's like, I have all these cousins, and I was the baby of my
Yeah.
family on
Yeah.
my dad's side. I have all these cousins my age. My kids have all these cousins their age. I have so many aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
They look like my mom.
Oh.
How old is your mom?
She's 72.
Wow.
So her youngest brother is probably more closer in
Yeah.
age to me.
Insane.
How did
That's
she
so
feel when she
crazy.
found out that she was the oldest of 9?
Overwhelmed,
Yeah.
but excited. I think, my mother's an amazing person, so sweet, always worried about everyone else. And I think she was always worried about finding them because she didn't
Yeah.
want to bring something upon a family that wasn't known. When I found them, and I first spoke to her oldest brother, who was born a year after her.
Yeah.
So she was still in the orphanage when he was born. And they were all raised by the same parents. He told me that they had been looking for her. And I think that
God.
broke down the ice that was there.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, okay. They want me as much as I want them.
Yeah.
And it's just been this unbelievable experience. I can't
Oh my
I
God.
can't explain it.
Yeah. Did you have to say, like, Mom, sit down? I have to tell you this? Like, was it?
Yes. And
What was
so
that
she
moment
knew
like
that
when
I
you
had
told her?
made a connection.
Yeah.
And then she was flying into Massachusetts a couple of days later. So I waited until we were on like the Route 9 diner. We were in the Route 9 diner, and I like pulled out this manila envelope because he had sent me all these pictures. And I was like, you are the oldest of 9 siblings. And it was like,
What did she do when you told her?
she handled it well.
Yeah.
Which basically she said nothing.
I think I'm about to cry.
It was a lot to take in. But again, I cannot begin to explain how amazing this family is.
Yeah.
And so it's been really emotional for her, but she's been there about a week. They're coming home soon. And they all just keep, we all speak through WhatsApp, and they're just like, she came in, and it's like we've known her forever.
Wow.
Like she's just part of the family. And
wow.
It's amazing.
So
that is incredible.
Yeah.
I just want to let the dog in.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
It's something that's real, but also doesn't feel real at the same time. It's a lot, but it's a really happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll go over there and meet your cousins?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I've already been chatting like when are their kids out of school? When should we come? Because I just can't wait to get there.
Yeah. What part of Ireland is?
They're in Longford County.
Is that like the northern or southern part?
I think it's in the middle.
Okay.
It's like farm area.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some of my cousins even look like me.
That's crazy.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Like your family just expanded by
a lot.
What's the factor? Did you do the math? Where's the calculator?
There's a lot of family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have one cousin in the US, and she's the one that I connected with. She's actually my mom's first cousin, but we're almost the same age.
Oh my gosh.
Because her father, who's my mother's uncle, was born a year before her.
Got it.
So, I mean, there's
Right. So much family.
so much family.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is a really positive, hopeful way to end.
Yeah.
It really is incredible. I'm so happy for her and for them. I think the healing needed to happen, and it has happened. So
that's awesome.
Nothing more we could ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Jenny, thank you for coming and talking to us about
having me here.
Better Together Dog Rescue, a bunch of other stuff.
A whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. Thank you.
All good stuff. Yeah.
And thank you for helping us get over our in-person jitters.
I know.
Yeah, and not being mean. Because I think I would have fallen apart.
I'm so happy to see people.
I would have disintegrated.
And converse.
Yeah.
Really, it's great.
Yeah. And this, I just have to remark, like, this definitely feels different, like, than doing it on the computer, on the box.
On
there.
the box.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah, like, there's more like this intangible, more real connection.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It feels different. I'm sure I'm going to sound different to people, like slightly off of my game, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Here I go.
Yeah.
Turning it all about me.
him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. All right, Jenny, thank you. Thank you for helping us through all of that. This
Yeah.
was so much
glad I
fun.
could help.
Stomping Jen.
Yes.
Let's turn to our listeners for a moment.
Yes.
And say the things we need to say to them.
My goodness.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We love you.
This episode's, it's going to be September when you're listening to this. Maybe we'll have our new website up.
Oh,
Go check it out. If we do, please.
If we don't, we're sorry.
Yeah. And we love you.
We do.
Thanks
for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoy what you heard, tell a friend.
Share.
Spread the
soft
word.
serve all over the country.
Help the Soft Serve podcast family grow. The dog is just staring at Jenny.
I know.
She's standing up on her back
I'm
legs
in love right now. We're having a moment.
and gazing into Jenny's eyes over there. Something was going on there.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She really is.
Thanks. So we're going to go around the table. Jenny, we like to just say our sign-off phrase here is bye now, right?
Yeah.
We all say it.
We do
Stomping
all say
Jen?
it.
You don't have to. You can do your own.
You can do your own.
But that's what we do, right?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I'll go first.
Oh, you're going to go first.
Yeah, and I'll let you two fight over who gets the last bye now, okay?
Alrighty.
All right,
Sure.
Bye now.
Bye now.
Bye now.
This world of ours, ever growing smaller, must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate. Those who have freedom will understand also its heavy responsibility. That all who are insensitive to the needs of others will learn charity, and that the sources, scourges of poverty, disease, and ignorance will be made disappear from the earth. And that in the goodness of time, all peoples will come to live together in a peace guaranteed by the binding force of mutual respect and love. I shall never cease to do what little I can to help the world advance along that road.